to President Wilson, other members of the dais, certainly to the men of the class of 2013, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the 2013 Senior Day, and sadly, the last Crown Forum of the academic year. We will now have opening prayer by Mr. Charles Wolford. If Mr. Cowherd is in the audience, please come to the stage.
Before I pray, will the brothers of the class of 2013 please stand for a moment of silence for our brother Khalifa Muhammad. Dear God, as we gather together this morning, our hearts and our minds are overwhelmed with gratefulness. For many of us in this place are preparing to finish a race that many did not have the privilege to begin. So before we fix our mouths to celebrate, we say thank you. Thank you, God, for keeping us. For this race has not always been easy. This race has not always been fair. This race has not always been affordable. But since we place our trust in you, we can confidently believe that everything we have endured was necessary for our purpose. So I pray this morning that as we transition from one race to another, that we would not forget what Mother Morehouse has taught us, so that on May 19th, the world would not witness another tragedy at the finish line. For it would truly be a tragedy if we were to leave this sacred place with trained minds but untrained hearts. It would be a tragedy for us to allow Morehouse to increase our knowledge but not our goodness. I pray that on our commencement day, the world would witness a prolific group of men prepared to enter the world and perform exceptionally well. I pray that we would be the class to answer the call from Dr. King to be a great people who will inject new meaning and dignity into the veins of civilization. So God, bless the class of 2013 and keep your spirit with us in all things that we do. It's in your many names that I pray. Amen.
After a prayer like that, anybody ought to be proud to be a member of the class of 2013. This program is put together by men of the senior class, the class of 2013. So I'm pleased at this time to bring Mr. Michael Cowherd, Vice President of the senior class, to the podium, and you will now preside, Mr. Cowherd. This is your day and the day of every man in this class. Let's give Mr. Cowherd a round of applause.
Thank you, Dr. Watts, for that beautiful introduction. Good morning, classmen of 2013. Once again, my name is Michael Cowherd. I did serve as your vice president for this academic school year. Just kind of get the thoughts out the air. President Wilson, the last time a Morehouse man of Morehouse was up here for the occasion, he wrote a check for $5,000. That will not be happening at this Crown Forum. All right, let's kind of just clear the air. Once again, good morning, President Wilson, Dr. Watts, faculty, staff, fellow men of Morehouse, and for whom the sun shines bright and this occasion was called, graduating class of 2013. The title of my occasion is called Never Will I Never Will. Now, I know that might have made you a little bit uncomfortable. What? I'm a man of Morehouse. There's very little things I can do. As a freshman, I never thought I'd be the last person given the final occasion. For those that know me, you probably thought the same thing. I needed a few more $1,000, but Miss Meadows, faithfully working hard, never thought I would get that $1,000. But Morehouse breeds men who walk up to adversity and challenges with a certain swag and demeanor about themselves. The challenges we faced here doesn't compare to those the world has set up for us. So thank you, Mother Morehouse, for you have prepared us to bring the world back to you on a silver platter. Life is filled with doubts, uncertainties, and thoughts of, I never will. But for 4 years, 2013, it has been we have, we did, we will, and we shall continue. This is 1 mile of an infinite marathon. So let's saunter to the greatness that the Lord has destined for every man of Morehouse and Morehouse man. May 19, 2013, the Lord has set aside a special kind of day for millions of people. Because for every man of Morehouse that's graduates, that's a cloud of ignorance that gets that much smaller, and those rays of sunlight multiply. On May 19th, we are celebrating greatness. We are celebrating growth and maturity. We are celebrating Morehouse, and that culminates to we are celebrating the victories and the triumphs of the class of 2013. Thank you. I am glad to be here this morning, gentlemen. I wish the best of luck to you all in your endeavors. And next we will have the musical selection from our magnificent Glee Club seniors. Please come to the stage.
The troubles of the world, troubles of the world, the troubles of the world. Sooner we'll be done with the troubles of the world, going home to live with God. Sooner we'll be done with the troubles of the world, troubles of the world, the troubles of the world. Sooner we'll be done with the troubles of the world, going home to live with God. I want to meet my mother. I want to meet my mother. I want to meet my mother. I'm going to live with God. I want to meet my mother. I want to meet my mother. I want to meet my mother. I'm going to live with God. Sooner we'll be done with the troubles of the world, the troubles of the world, the troubles of the world. Sooner we'll be done with the troubles of the world, going home to live with God. Sooner we'll be done with the troubles of the world, troubles of the world, the troubles of the world. Sooner we'll be done with the troubles of the world, going home to live with God. No more wailing, no more wailing, no more weeping and wailing. I'm going to live with God. No more wailing, no more wailing, no more wailing and wailing, no weeping, weeping, no wailing, no more wailing. Sooner we'll be done with the troubles of the world, the troubles of the world, the troubles of the world. Sooner we'll be done with the troubles of the world, going home to live with God. Sooner we'll be done with the troubles of the world, troubles of the world, the troubles of the world. Sooner we'll be done with the troubles of the world, going home to live with God. I want to meet my Jesus. I want to meet my Jesus. I want to meet my Jesus. I'm going to live with God. In the morning, Lord. I want to meet my Jesus. I want to meet my Jesus. I want to meet my Jesus. I'm going to live with God. I'm going to live with God. I'm going to live with God.
Thank you once again, Glee Club. Can we get another round of applause? That might be the last time they are here in the Crown Forum to do that. Thank you, gentlemen, for all your service for 4 years. Thank you. Next, we have a special kind of speaker, very dear to Morehouse College, very dear to the African-American community. We have Dr. Ilya Davis, a lecturer of philosophy and religion at Morehouse College and Clark Atlanta University. Professor Davis is a 1990 graduate of Morehouse College, where he majored in philosophy. He also studied African-American studies, Clark Atlanta University, religion and culture at Harvard Divinity School, and pursued his doctoral studies at the University of Chicago in philosophy of religion. He researches and teaches in philosophy of religion, the philosophy of Immanuel Kant, the philosophy of language, epistemology, African-American religious experience, and African-American philosophies. Professor Davis has published on the social and political thought of Dr. Benjamin E. Mays, as well as the nature of Black religious thought and practices. He received the UNCF Andrew Mellon Faculty Fellowship for 2011-2012. He is a member of the Golden Key International Honor Society and the National Society of Collegiate Scholars. Professor Davis has taught philosophy and political theory at Morehouse College since 2009, and philosophy and religion at Clark Atlanta University since 2005. Professor Davis has served as the advisor for the Bill and Melinda Gates Millennium Scholars here at Morehouse College. He has lectured at Duke University, University of Notre Dame, Oakwood University, Presbyterian College, the University of Missouri Science and Technology, Dominican University, and the University of Chicago. He is right here from Atlanta, Georgia, and is the privileged father of 2 girls, Elon and Anya. Professor Davis? Yes? Okay. Excuse me, 14 and 11. He is a member of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Without further ado, Mr. Ilya Davis.
Good morning, gentlemen. I will do my best to show some due diligence to time. I know Dr. Watts is behind me and I can feel the heat already. So I will put my iPhone on to make sure that I do not exceed an hour and a half. Okay. One of the scariest things I used to imagine as a student is that a professor would stand in front of me my senior year at Morehouse and wonder why I was sitting with the senior class. I won't do that today. I'll let that pass. But to President Wilson and to Dr. Watts and the rest of the members here on the dais, it is an honor for me to be here at Morehouse College, my home, my love. I would like to begin by talking to you from an existential point of view, by letting you understand what it meant for me to attend Morehouse College. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I did not attend the strongest academic environment for high school. And so Morehouse gave me an opportunity where there were no other opportunities at the time. Having graduated from this school, suffice it to say, I did not take Spanish, physics, advanced math, several other courses. But coming to Morehouse, I had to take physics, Dr. Dixon. I had to take pre-calculus with Dr. Walton. I had to take foreign language, at the time, Mr. McNeil. I did graduate, though. That was most important. But from an existential point of view, it is important that I often tell students, and many of you I've taught and spoken to before, that I declare every time I have occasion to say that Morehouse College saved my life. Now, sometimes that is often taken to be hyperbolic, but I believe it is germane to our conversation today. Morehouse saved my life to the extent to which I can't imagine what my life would have been like had I not attended. I was given or afforded the opportunity to attend Morehouse College. And again, being able to speak at Morehouse gives me occasion to say thank you to many individuals who are here today that I can now say in public. Dr. Aaron Parker, Dr. U.Z. Brown, and there are several others, Wendell Phillips Whalum, for whom the pipe organ is named, Dr. Abraham Davis, Dr. Dolores Stevens. These individuals fundamentally allowed me to be wrong in their presence, and I appreciate that. For as I often tell you all in class, the only way we can make corrections is to understand from what point of departure do you make your error. So today we stand here, and I begin with a quote from Marcel Proust. "We do not receive wisdom, we must discover it for ourselves. After a journey through the wilderness, which no one else can make for us, which no one can spare us, for our wisdom is the point of view from which we come at last to regard the world. The lives that you admire, the attitudes that seem noble to you, have not been shaped by a paternal familius or a schoolmaster. They have sprung from the very different beginnings, having been influenced by evil or commonplace that prevailed round about them. They represent a struggle and a victory." Historical reflection is very difficult because it requires a certain type of what the ancient Greeks called parrhesia, a level of honesty and truth-telling of consciousness, where now the requirement is for you to be honest with yourself. As you matriculated here in Morehouse, you often never spared the opportunity to be honest with the administration, with your faculty, for often many of you would often like to tell me what my duties have been and what they should have been. So now the requirement is that you be honest with yourselves. It is difficult, although not impossible, for one to think of what might be said about a Morehouse College experience that has not already been heard or articulated. Up to this point, your college perspectives have been the products of college life from the point of view of an active participant in the doings and sayings of a living Morehouse encounter. Now, as you prepare to commence with the impending episodes of living outside these relatively tranquil walls, you will begin to imagine what and how you will conceive and forge the remembrance of things past. Your individual histories will be the yield of selective judgments and memory. To be sure, your recollections of Morehouse will reveal your own interpretive choices. Remembrance of things past is not necessarily the remembrance of things as they were. It is you who will decide how your recollections will be configured and on what details you choose to rehearse your revisionist accomplishments and redacted failures. Which way you decide will be the animating feature of your Morehouse narrative, and this narrative will guide your postgraduate relationship with the college. It is here that we pause. It is important that you now reconsider, reevaluate, even recalibrate your understandings of what it has meant to be at Morehouse College. As a freshman here in 1985, my student government president was Adam Smith, and I remember them standing before us declaring all of the platitudes of what they believed a Morehouse man should be. And at that given moment, we all understood that Morehouse, for us, the class of 85, then the class of 89 graduating, we were going to forge our own histories. We were going to determine what Morehouse College would be for us individually and collectively. This now is your responsibility. You can complain about the food, as I'm sure you do. You can complain about the housing, which I'm sure you do. But I would cast a little insight here. I would almost wager that the dorms at Morehouse are equal, if not greater, than many of the dorms at Oxford University. So if the dorms are the issue for you, you're in the wrong place. Morehouse is an experience. It is a fallacy to quantify equality, and oftentimes we find ourselves doing this. You don't allow the ascription of a particular numerical value to what Morehouse has meant. Morehouse means much more than a number could represent. I'm sorry, Dr. Coop, he's up here. The chair of the math department is behind me. But I believe that there's an error here in place. You fundamentally now are in a position, you are now becoming alumni. You no longer can say, well, next semester I'll do it. Well, what are you doing over the summer? Sorry, son, the summer now is perennial. Your job now, not your employment, but your job as a human being, comes to the fore. You have a responsibility to represent what's been done for and to you and through you here at Morehouse College. It is easy to elaborate all the ills, as I said before. And as I look out, I'm sure I can find several students who would love to articulate that at this present moment. The issue is, Morehouse has been the occasion for your meditation on the nature and function of what it means for you to ask and attempt a response to the formidable question of what it means to be a human being. You all have been educated, or you at least have begun your education. The requirement now is for you to represent what that means. Education begins but never ends. You can no longer again refer back to what was not done for you in class. As many of you have understood, even in my classes, your education fundamentally will come through your interaction with one another. There your education rests. As Morehouse graduates, you now have to go out into the world and represent Morehouse. Each and every last one of you will be Morehouse on 2 feet. And as a member of the club, as one who wears the ring, you and I are the same. The hope is that I represent the high standards and the integrity of Morehouse College for you in the way that I expect you to represent it for me. Everywhere you go, everything you say, it is Morehouse College. I often have told students that the difficulty with being at Morehouse is trying to configure a sense of self in the presence of all the conflated ideas of masculinity, right? There's a tendency for you to try to figure out how best to be the best Morehouse man. Well, I'll give you several suggestions. One thing is to undermine the social conditioning of assuming that you must somehow be the opposite of a woman. We here at Morehouse will dare to love. We will dare to care. We will dare to share our emotions and our feelings with one another. We will get to the crux of what it means to be a human being if it's the last thing we do. You must fight to be human. Being human is not somehow merely being born. That merely reflects our being animal. What I'm asking you now is to step forward and to live a certain type of life, a life of ethical leadership, a life dedicated to the integrity and the dignity of all human beings. Whether or not a brother is gay or not, that's irrelevant to the humanity of a person. Whether or not it's a woman, that's irrelevant to whether or not you offer her the same respect you would to any man you believe to be worthy. We are now going to make more requirements of you now as graduates than we ever made of you as a student. You are Morehouse. Dare you wear a shirt in public and not be able to represent this idea? If you don't think you're responsible, don't wear it. Maybe you need to read again. Maybe you need to have some experiences. Your job now is to represent the least and the last of society. Many of you will claim, well, I have a job now. That's fine. But I guarantee you what will not be asked of you at graduation by all of the people who admire you marching across the stage, not where you will be working. The fundamental question that will not be asked is, have you become a better human being? That's much more central. That's much more fundamental to what it means to have attended Morehouse College. Anyone can get a job. Everyone cannot represent being a human. You must now fight to be human every day. The first law of nature is what? Thank you. Thank you. Andre is in my class now. He knows this to be true. There is a fight to manifest the preservation of who you are. But don't undermine this by being some psychological egoist where you believe that you could use and manipulate others for your own value. You must now extend beyond that. What does it mean to give oneself in such a way and love in such a way that you would do this irrespective of the repercussions to your own being? Now, we're not talking about being manipulated by others. We're talking about the free act of choosing to love, to represent your humanity in public. I'm not interested in your commitment behind closed doors. If you're a member of an organization, don't tell me what your organization does on the weekends when no one is watching. It needs to be done in public. People need to understand that the students at Morehouse College care. When was the last time you showed this care in the West End? When was the last time you sat with a child and you offered yourself? Oh, and you didn't get brownie points. We must understand to be human requires living a certain type of life, a life dedicated to a commitment to being a better human being, the refinement of being a human being. And it requires truth-telling. Some of the lies we're used to having matriculated here, I'm pretty clear about what that is. Let's look at one example of a fundamental lie we tell ourselves as students. I have a test tomorrow. Let's go back to the dorm and study. Well, I'm a little tired. Let me take a nap. Take a nap. Well, I'm hungry. Let's eat a little something. Now it's about 11 o'clock. You know what? I'll go to sleep and wake up early and I'll study then. Alarm clock, 5 o'clock. Class isn't until 9. How much can I do before 9 o'clock? Well, you know what? Let me just hit the snooze button one more time. One more time leads to 5 more times. Luckily for you, you live on campus. That means no shower, no shave, run to class. What is required is parrhesia, truthfulness of conscience. Be honest with yourself. Do not lie to yourself. You understand more than anyone else your own lazy disposition, your inability to extend yourself for yourself. Pay attention to the nuances of your contradictions. You cannot tell someone and be inconsistent. Fundamental to moral life is it guides your actions, unlike mere facts. A mere fact doesn't change your disposition about the world, but your moral position does. If you believe that human beings have infinite wealth that's incalculable, you must act commensurate with that belief, treating all human beings equally. So today I come before you celebrating you because you're about to commence. Your graduation speakers will give you multiple interpretations of what it means to begin. At the end of the day, it is you who must decide what the beginning is. Think for yourself. Sapere aude. Have the courage to think for yourself. Do not merely be led. And I end by telling you, gentlemen, I love you. As a Morehouse brother, I do. And this is what you tell those who were not here today, for those who will criticize you, for those who thought you'd never do this. You look them in the eye and tell them, when others flunked out, failed out, and kicked out, I marched out of Morehouse with degree in hand. Thank you, gentlemen.
As we can see, nothing Professor Davis has gone in vain. Everything he studied, he brings to us, brothers. So I hope everybody was attentive. Before we celebrate our academic individuals in our class, I'll be remiss if we didn't celebrate a few individuals. First, can I have the senior class officers please stand? Please give these gentlemen a round of applause. They've worked very hard their senior year, graduate school, law school, you name it, they've done it. Secondly, our great dean of the senior class, Mr. Alvin H. Darden, please stand and be recognized. Thank you. And to 3 beautiful young ladies who have been very behind the scene, but definitely there for us as a class council. Our senior class court, our queen, Ms. Dominique Felder, Ms. Kalia, first attendant, Ms. Kalia Baker, and second attendant, Ms. Ebony Vance. Thank you, ladies. Gentlemen, at this time, we will continue to celebrate our class. We will have the Department Academic Honors presentation. Each divisional dean and department chair will give an award to each respective individual in that division. Excuse me. We now have business and economics.
Thank you, young man. Good morning. Good morning. I want to thank again Professor Davis for those informative life lessons. Thank him again. As Dean, it's my charge to recognize the top scholars from the Division of Business and Economics. However, let me take this opportunity to congratulate all of the top scholars, as well as the graduates in the class of 2013. Young men, as I call your name, please join us on the stage. The top scholar from the division, it's a major in economics, is Mr. Malcolm C. Parrish. Mr. Parrish. The top scholar and accountant is Mr. Nathaniel Goulburn. Mr. Goulburn. The top scholar in finance, my teaching field, is Mr. Richard L. Day, Jr. The top scholar in marketing, Mr. Zarelyn S. Irvin. And finally, the top scholar in management is Mr. Marcus A. Kennedy. Congratulations. Keith, do you want to join us up here? Thank you. I'm sorry. Oh, great. Yeah, I didn't see. Come on. Thank you.
Good morning. I am honored, I am pleased to be here for my first senior day at Morehouse College. And I too want to congratulate all of the seniors in all of the divisions. But I especially want to congratulate and say that I am pleased to present the ranking seniors in the disciplines in the Division of Humanities and Social Sciences. Scholars, as I call your names, please move quickly to the stage to be recognized and remain on stage until all the scholars in our division have received their awards. The scholars in the Division of Humanities and Social Sciences. For the English department, the top scholar is Mr. Darian Wynn. French major, Mr. Elijah Martin. From the Department of Kinesiology, Sports Studies, and Physical Education, we have Mr. Christopher M. Wilburn. From the Department of History, Mr. Frederick Spite. For International Studies, we have Leonard L. Horn. From the Music Department, we have Mr. Sherman A. Modeste. From religion, we have Mr. Reginald W. Sharp. From sociology, Mr. Travell Rajan Anderson. Spanish major, Mr. Travis Amsterdam. And another Spanish major, Mr. Abram Vera. From philosophy, we have Quintavious R. Williams. And from political science, we have Mr. Leland S. Shelton. And would my department heads join us? Department heads from Humanities and Social Sciences.
Good morning. I'm Dr. J.P. Brown. I'm representing Dean Haynes this morning. He was unable to be here. Despite that, it does not mitigate or diminish his extreme excitement and honor of having many of you in the Division of Science to graduate. As a group, you are the ones who have truly toiled in the vineyards. You have worked long and hard. And it is through this we expect you to transform society through your science and engineering expertise. At this time, we'd like to acknowledge the ranking seniors in the various disciplines. As I call your name, please move quickly to the stage. In the Department of Biology, we recognize Ernest J. Nelson, Jr. In the Department of Chemistry, we recognize Zali White. In Computer Science, we recognize Betsega Tadeli. In Dual Degree Engineering, we recognize Emmanuel D. Adanu. In mathematics, again, we recognize Zali White. In the physics department, we recognize Isaac Rose. So will the respective department chairs? That's it.
Okay, right here, Jim.
Can we get another round of applause for everybody all together? Congratulations, gentlemen. Congratulations. As I was sitting in my seat and I looked out into the crowd, for the class council knows, myself and Mike especially, there was someone in the beginning of our journey who deserves a lot of credit, Ms. Zandra Everett. So can we please give her a round of applause, because she was definitely there for us and she really held us down. We appreciate you. Actually, can you come to the stage? I just got news. We have something for you. So 2013 just full of surprises. Thank you. Last but not least, a lady who might have made us cry freshman year, I know made my mother cry freshman year, whose voice just rings through King Chapel like nothing you've heard before. Very special lady, very special lady. Y'all already know who I'm going for, y'all already know. So without further ado, Dr. Ann Watts.
Thank you very much. I don't know how to say this, but I'm going to miss all of you. I'm going to miss Crown Forum. I'm going to miss the men of Morehouse, but you're going to see me around. I'm going to be doing some things in and out. And it's been a great journey. And I want you to know that I take part of you with me. And I love you all. Thank you. Thank you. At this time, no group can perform as well as it has done this morning. No class can be as great as yours is and will continue to be without a strong leader of this class. At this time, I would like for Mr. Michael Fleming to come forward. In recognition for outstanding service as Senior Class President 2012-2013, the gavel, of course, suggests eternally his leadership as president of this magnificent class. Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. And now, the 11th president of Morehouse College, the one and only, Dr. John Sylvanus Wilson.
Yeah. Morehouse. All right. All right. Oh, man. Maroon Tigers. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, the energy in that, yeah, Morehouse. Yeah. Just a few minutes. Shh. Listen, I want to thank Dr. Watts. I want to thank Gillia Davis. I want to thank all of the honorees. Congratulations to you all. Great job. That's what hard work will do. That's how it pays off. I congratulate you all. Just a few quick points. You know, Michael, I was senior class president back in 1979. Oh, what a year it was. And you know what? At this very moment on senior day, we kind of took over. We were the three speakers. We had three speakers at senior day, and all of us were in the senior class, and we spoke to our class. And then we worked with the president, and we said, listen, you know, we know it's been your custom to choose the graduation speaker, but we want to choose our graduation speaker. We had worked that out with him, and we said we wanted the most powerful voice in Africa to be our graduation speaker, and at that time it was Joshua Nkomo. All right? And we said we want the most powerful voice in America to be our baccalaureate speaker. And at that time, it was a then less controversial man named Minister Louis Farrakhan. He stood on this podium, at this podium, and gave our baccalaureate address. But you didn't have to come to me to make a demand, because your graduation speaker is the most powerful person in the world. All right? All right? You have the privilege of having the President of the United States to address your class. Now listen, I thought 2013 was pretty significant, being the 150th anniversary of the Emancipation Proclamation, the 100th anniversary of Morehouse being called Morehouse, the 50th anniversary of the iconic I Have a Dream speech, and the start of my presidency of Morehouse College. But see, that wasn't enough. We have the President of the United States coming here to address this class. That's right, it's very important. And I want to say to you, brothers, no matter what you've heard, no matter what you hear from now, Dr. Ann Watts is running our graduation. We have a great team. It's going to be a great occasion. Pray for great weather. I need you to do that. But I commit to you what the White House committed to us. They did it when they first called, and they've done it a few times since. And they said, listen, when the President of the United States goes anywhere, and I know this well, I've been on the road with the President, it's a circus sometimes. People just lose their minds. Egos get run amok, and all this kind of thing goes on. All you have to do, Morehouse, is focus on one thing, and we made this agreement. Our focus will be on the class of 2013, you graduates, your families, and the historic visit by the President of the United States. There is no other focus, all right? That's what's going to be in focus on May 19th. That's all you need to keep in mind. Every decision I make and we make will play to that focus, all right? No matter what you hear, no matter what you've heard, we are making every decision to keep that in focus. You all ought to be honored. You ought to feel honored. It's the first time ever. And I want you all to accept the challenge from me to break a record, to be the most steadfast, honest, and true class to come out of Morehouse College. I want you to give back to Morehouse. I want you to give back with all your heart. I want you to try your best to be successful in the world. There's a lot going on, man. There's a lot of drama behind the scenes, but I'm focused on you. And I give you a charge to be steadfast, honest, and true like no other class. To understand that there's greatness in our destiny. as a college and as a people and as individuals. And if you work hard on that, you'll come to the evening of your life and you'll say, Holy Spirit, Holy Spirit, make us steadfast, honest, and true to old Morehouse and her ideals, and in all things that we do. God bless you.
President Wilson, on behalf of the class of 2013, I want you to know that it is our honor to be your first graduating class. Seriously, thank you. I'm going to follow in President Wilson's footsteps of the class of 1979 and kind of take over this as a senior class. Can I have the Glee Club members please come back to the stage as we exit in our last crown form and sing Dear Old Morehouse. Can I have the Glee Club members please come back to the stage? Lead us in this powerful song by J.O.B. Mosley, class of 1929. Thank you, gentlemen. Let's stand and lock up, brothers.